Oh, as Sid from Toy Story said, it came! It finally came. It is time for another terrible one-handed unboxing video from me. But this one's a little special. Let's cut it open. Now, my unboxing videos usually go a certain way because I like to just get a taste of what's inside the box. I don't like to look through everything and know all the abilities and cards and what have you of every game I play. So, if you don't like that style, this isn't going to be for you because I'm just going to take a cursory look at everything. But, enough of that. Alright. Packing bubbles. First off, we got the Sergeant Drake Alexander promo miniature. Let's see what else. We have... Oh wow, these are bigger boxes than I anticipated. We have the Grove at Laur's Edge Trees and Bushes Line of Sight block pack. And then we've got the Battle for the Wellspring battle box. Oh, cool. And oh, I need to grab this with both hands or make it easier on myself. I imagine the sound from the cartoon Doug whenever he would see something cool. Yeah. The Heroscape Age of Annihilation Master Set. Before they move away from waves and go into story arcs, this is Age of Annihilation Wave 1. So, let's take a peek in the boxes. Starting with what I would consider the most lame, but still awesome, the terrain. So, the Grove at Laur's Edge is the first Heroscape terrain system expansion, and it is a one-for-one reprint of the Takala Jungle. So it comes with the 3 trees and the 6 underbrush pieces. So the other ones, they're all going to be different. They're not going to be one-for-one recreations of the old terrain packs, but this first one here is. So take a look at the box here because I'm probably not going to keep the box. So, the Battle of All Time. Alright, the 6 trees are not assembled, but it's got a setup guide and rules. And then credits. And here they are assembled and next to the Takala Jungle pieces. So here's a new underbrush piece. Here's an old underbrush piece. These block line of sight a lot better with these solid pieces than these ones do. Trees. Looks like 2 that are relatively the same size and then one other shorter one here. The canopies of these trees all seem to be the same size as well. So overall, pretty neat. There is a known issue with the Grove at Laur's Edge that if you place it on a second level, it doesn't quite sit flush with the hex. But if you create your second level already and drop it in, it sits just a little bit above. Not totally deal-breaking or anything in my opinion, but it is a known issue. Renegade has been made aware of the issue. No statement as of now, but they say they're working on it. Otherwise, I don't really think it's that big of a deal. They sit just fine on the bottom level, but yeah. Next up is going to be the Sergeant Drake Alexander promo figure. He came with pre-orders from Renegade's website for Wave 1 of Age of Annihilation. He comes with just a biography, his army card, and then the miniature itself. And the premium painted advertisements are on the cellophane wrapping. Next up is the Battle for the Wellspring Battle Box, which is one of two things that I had an issue with, and that'll be the Wellspring water, which I'll get to in a minute. So take a look at the back of the box here. This one's going to come with 6 miniatures, 31 hex tile terrain pieces, 2 Laur jungle trees, 6 combat die, 1 20-sided die, 8 order markers, 15 wound markers, 3 powder markers, 1 glyph, which is Brandar, which I don't believe is even used in the actual game except for round tracking, or the actual box, not game, 6 army cards, 1 rulebook, and a scenario guide. So this is meant to be just like a little taste of Heroscape. Get people into it and get them interested in expanding or master sets and such. So yeah, let's take a look inside the box, eh? So here is how it comes packaged. Now this is neat to me. I'm going to see, obviously you can lie in the comments or just say, oh, I knew all along. But can you tell which of these is old hexes and which is new? The answer is this is an old Heroscape hex, as is this one. Here they are stacked. And I would just like to say Lee Huff, who does all the paint masters and everything, did an excellent job of getting these color matched, in my opinion. And now one more time, which of these is old and which of these is new? The answer, the old ones are right here. I took them off. These are all new. Here is Wellspring water. Now, this is one of the two things from the relaunch of Heroscape that I'm not a huge fan of, because this is what the Wellspring water was originally supposed to look like in the following picture. And as you can see, that opalescent, rainbowy, sapphire, whatever you want to call it, is not reflected in these tiles very much. There is a slight colorized sheen to them in person, but it's really hard to see it on video and picture. To me, they just look like more solid ice tiles. This is an ice tile from the Thalink Tundra set. Again, not a deal breaker, just I wish they looked a little bit cooler. That's alright though. And here is the evolution of water tiles over Heroscape's history. The first edition sparkly water, which is cool. The second edition solid blue water, which was meh and dumb, and turns into this green, really easily broken, yucky piece. And then they came back to sparkly water. So again, very great match. It's really hard for me to tell which of these is new and old, and once I mix them into my bucket, I'm pretty sure I won't be able to. And here's another little bit of a difference. This is a new grass 24 hex piece. This is an old one. As you can see, the edges of this one are frayed and damaged. These ones are nice and smooth. They still have the scarring on the top, but they don't have that edge. Plus the teeth on the side are a little different. So again, not that much of an issue. They do lock in. These are a little tighter and will require just a little bit more force than I want to do to push them together like that. And as you can see, the coloration a little bit off, but again, this could be due to age of some of my 24 hex pieces. Yeah, these things really tight when they lock in. Hopefully over time that becomes a little more loose, but did not like really the amount of force I had to use to take them apart. So again, as I've stated a few times already, not a terrible issue to me, but if I'm doing that to some of these 20-year-old rock hexes and stuff, the 24s, I see some breakage in my future if I am not careful. Then we've got order markers, wound markers, and these are usually round markers, but I think they're used for something else on one of the army cards, I don't know. And then this brings me to part 2 of what I'm not a huge fan of, and that is the glyphs. They changed them to a very simplistic, simple graphic compared to the old ones, which felt like an artifact or something laying on the ground. This just, They still function the same way as a glyph does in the game when you play them. Their rules still apply, so it does not ruin the game that they don't look aesthetically pleasing as the old ones, but it's just personal taste. A comparison. This one looks like Wingding's font. This one looks like the hatch from the TV show Lost. But whatever. And here's another difference, and this is not a nitpick by any means, just highlighting some differences. This is a new combat die, this is an old one. This skull has like more triangulated teeth, tendrils, I don't know, maybe it's just a Morrow. But, and then the shield on the old ones has a sad crest, and this one has more of a just average horizontal one. But they still work, and as always with my videos, my dice go where they want and not where I intend. Comes with army cards, and also one of the new of 2 confirmed Valkyrie generals, Revna, who we believe is replacing the 4 army cards Valkyrie, who was attempted to be introduced before Heroscape died the first time. But this relaunch is going to introduce Revna and Volarak, who has no figures yet represented. We've got the game contents and books here. We've got, looks like, some rules. You've got a rule book, and then scenarios and such here. We have Bokburna, Theobani the Void Siren, Killian Vane III, Anshu the Welkanai, Kita the Spring Runner, and Iwashia Master of Tides, who used to be Iwashia Mistress of Tides, but went through a name change. And now, the big one, the Age of Annihilation Master Set, which has the classic box flap, just like the old sets had. So, very nostalgic there. And this one's going to come with 9 scenarios, 4 battlefield designs, 20 miniatures, 74 hex terrain pieces, 13 Laur wall terrain pieces, 8 combat dice, a 20-sided die, 8 order markers, 21 wound markers, 3 powder markers, 3 consume markers, 1 round marker, 11 glyphs, 11 army cards, a rulebook, and a scenario guide. And it is fully compatible with all Heroscape master sets and expansions, so your old collection will work with this game. Awesome. And just taking a initial glance at this box here, we've got all the stuff neatly arranged and ready for action. Another copy of the rulebook, game contents, and Zenithrax assembly guide, tissue papers, and then the hexes down here. Also, before I continue with the hexes, initially when I did my can you tell which is old and which is new test, I said you could always lie in the comments and say you knew, but some people do know. Other people do have a good eye, so I'm not going to call anyone a liar if they were able to pick it out. But anyway, yeah, so that shows that that's been sitting on my mind since I said it. Oops! Here's the glyphs. And here they are with 4 old ones. So I believe it's, nope, this one then. Yep. Okay. So interesting that I flipped over 2 and it was both Dagmar. So good color matching on the backs of these. I play with random glyphs, so if I'm really looking, I'm able to tell, but I think it'll do just fine. And here is a comparison of the Battle for the Underdark order markers versus the Age of Annihilation order markers. A little bit of a deeper purple here, and I believe fuchsia might be the right term here, but yeah, A little bit of a different shade. I like the darker purple better. And here's the Laur walls. A little bit heftier than I imagined. I thought they'd be a little bit less weighty, but they can sit like that. Can do... That's probably not going to be enough space between them. The space between... Yeah, they can... I don't think this one is going to connect like that. So I need a little bit more in between that. So this is where this one is. It's not a straight across. It's more of a... when the hexes are staggered a little bit. Then we've got the army cards that come in this box. We've got the Knaves of the Silver Scimitar, the Exiles of the Sundered Sea, the Frostclaw Paladins, then we have Admiral EJ-1M, got Raylin the Kiri Warrior, I believe it's pronounced Loviatok the Kiri Warrior, and then we've got, I believe it's Rakechot not the Steward of Death, just Steward of Death. Then I believe it's Miserx, or Mizrax, the Kiri Warrior, Misaerx. So then we have Knight Irene, which used to be Knight Adjutor Oberon, which was a cooler name to me, but now is Knight Irene. I believe it's Good Night Irene is the pun. I think there's a song or something. Anyway, Dorim the Bulkhead Brawler, and Zenithrax the Vine Weaver, who is a gigantic figure, and pictures did not do it justice. It's huge. Zenithrax the Vine Weaver used to be Zenithrax the Soul Weaver, but the name was changed. So there we go. That is unboxing of Heroscape Age of Annihilation Wave 1. Which, if they're going towards story arcs, I would just say this is Age of Annihilation Part 1. Part 2 is expected in October, and then we start different story arcs after that. So all this stuff to me is very cool. I'm very excited. I'm really happy to be playing with this. Getting brand new Heroscape is not something I would have told you was going to happen a few years ago, but this is really cool. I'm really excited for what Renegade is doing. Despite some nitpicks or hiccups with jungle trees and such, this is very cool product to me, and I hope for many more years of getting this excited to get a package delivered to my door. So enough video. I'm going to just say one more time that I am a Renegade affiliate as of a few days ago, so I'm going to post my link in the description of this video. If you want to use it to shop Renegade products, that'd be appreciated. And again, there are other affiliates in the Heroscape community, and probably also in the Renegade community. I don't have them all named, but if you have a favorite streamer or a friend you'd like to support, I highly recommend using them as well. There's plenty of ways to get Heroscape, not just through the Renegade website, but get some. This game is fantastic. Amazing.